Hello and welcome to Whitehorse Music TV. My name is Richard Bedinner and I am here today to introduce you to the Gliga III violin. And the Ragetti RV5 violin. All of the violins that we sell here at Whitehorse Music have been set up by Richard Bedinner, that's me. With violins, the way they originally come to shops, they come with a factory bridge, which is just a very soft maple bridge, which doesn't transfer sound very well. We throw that out and make a new bridge out of a much higher quality French bridge blank. And it makes the sound stronger. It means I can shape the bridge so it's easier to play on the individual strings. We fix the peg so it's less likely to slip out of tune. Very annoying when it slips out of tune. We lower the nut so that it's easier to press down the strings to the correct height. We make a new sound post for inside the violin so the sound is more even throughout the violin, and we put on good strings. A lot of them come with horrible factory strings which are worth about less than $1 for the set, and we throw them out and put on decent strings which makes the sound 1,000,000 times better. All of that set up, it's possibly about over $200 worth of parts, but it'll make a $500 violin sound better than a $1,500 violin in most cases. And so it's definitely worth going to a specialist violin shop like Whitehorse Music to get your violin. Okay, first up, the Gliga III is made in the workshops of Vasil Gliga, who is a famous violin maker in Romania. It's made under his instruction. They're made using, well, the varnish to start with is a German oil varnish, which is very finely applied and allows the wood to vibrate the way it wants to make the best sound. They always, well, not always, but 99% of the time these Gligas will have a very mellow sort of a sound, and that's partly to do with the varnish used. They use very nice wood. The Gliga III is their base model, and they use higher level wood as they go up in their models, but already the Gliga III has beautiful spruce and very nice maple on the back and sides. So that's the Gliga III. The Ragetti RV5, possibly the wood is a little, possibly slightly higher quality, I would say. Very nice close growth lines there, and on the back you have a very nice beautiful stripy piece of maple. The varnish is different, it's a spirit varnish. In fact, these two, they sort of sound the way they look to a degree. The Gliga looks very mellow and sort of matte finish, and the Ragetti looks shiny, and you get a sort of shinier, brighter sound to it. So they differ quite in a big way. The Ragetti is made under the instruction of Scott Chow in China, and when I say under the instruction of, I actually don't really mean under the instruction of, because I doubt enormously that either of these violins has been seen by either of those makers. The Gliga wouldn't have been seen by Vasil Gliga, and the Ragetti wouldn't have been seen by Scott Chow unless he just happened to trip over it on the way through his workshop or something like that. But they're more sort of made to the specifications of those great makers. Alright, now let's see how these two violins stack up against each other sound-wise. I'll give them a good play. So first of all, we've got the Gliga III, and then I'll play the Ragetti RV5. Alright. So the Gliga III had a nice mellow sound, a nice soft, round, mellow sound. Not too soft, it had enough volume, but it definitely had a very mellow and ringing sort of a sound. There was quite a bit of sustain there. Yeah, the sound continues on. So that's probably why this is our most popular violin. A lot of people like that sort of nice, warm, mellow sound. It's nice to play in your bedroom and that sort of thing. So that's really nice. Okay, so maybe I'll play this once more, and then I'll swap straight over to the Ragetti. Okay, so that's the Gliga. Okay, that still had the depth that the Gliga did, but it was a brighter sort of a sound. It's probably a little bit stronger, a little bit louder sounding, but it didn't have as much sort of mellowness and roundness to the sound as the Gliga. But it's quite often that someone who really likes the Ragetti will not like the Gliga, and someone who really likes the Gliga won't like the Ragetti, because they're quite contrasting. So this is quite a bright sound. I'm not sure if the computer speakers will be, you know, giving you enough information to let you hear that, but definitely there is a big difference, and I can hear why these are our two most popular violins, because they have a very good sustenance to the sound, and a beautiful round sound to that one, and a beautiful ringing sound to this one. It would be hard to separate them as to what is the, you know, higher, which one is the better quality instrument, but they're both beautiful violins, definitely. Alright, just one quick note that I want to say about buying violins from non-specialist violin stores, especially the cheap violins that you find on the internet. There's a lot of companies that bring in horrible, evil violins that are worth less than $100, and I get about 2 people a week bringing in these violins. Every single week I'll see at least 2 of these horrible violins where quite often the bridge is so flat that you can't play on the individual strings because you're playing on all 4 strings at once. You know, they're made of horrible wood. Even if I spend the couple of $100 to set them up and make all the parts work together, still the sound that comes out of them quite often is not so great, because the materials used are not good. Violins, well, the violins that we sell start at, you know, over $200, and they are the cheapest violins that I would actually call a violin. A lot of these violins that I see are not actually violins. I'm not saying that just to get people into our store. I mean, go to a violin specialist store or buy from a violin specialist store. Do not buy from someone who's also bringing in toasters or, you know, kettles or something. At Whitehorse Music, we prefer that you come into the shop to try the violins, to get the violin that'll match to your personality and what you like, and we also like it if you get your teacher involved and that sort of thing, because the teacher knows best. But if you're living on the top of Mount Everest or something like that, it'll be really cold. We're happy to, if you order a violin from our website, we're happy to look for the best one for you of the violins that we have available. If you're looking at a Gliga III, for instance, or a Ragetti RV5, we'll play through the ones that we have here and see if we can choose the best of the batch.